All right, good evening, good afternoon. Not good afternoon. It may be afternoon where some of you may be watching me. This is JL, aka Joe the Farmer. Today, there's no Keesa. It's just going to be me, Joe, talking to you about relationships and your due season. And I know some of you are wondering, well, what are you talking about, Joe? What does that mean? But, I want to start off with a couple of scriptures that kind of will give you a reference on what I'm talking about. The first one is Galatians 6:9. And let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we not faint. What that means for us as Christians is, it's hard sometimes to do good, to do the right things. But if you are able to do these things in your due season, you will be able to reap. And I heard something, it was earlier today or yesterday, well, actually it was today. There are 4 seasons. You got summer, spring, summer, winter, and fall. But there's actually a 5th season, which is God's due season. And, so that's what I'm really referring to is God's due season in your life. But even if you're not a Christian, what we're talking about is as you sow into yourself, as you become the best version of yourself, you should have an expectation of reaping from that. And then the other thing that I wanted to share was Luke 22:31. And just bear with me, guys. And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desired to have you, that he might sift you as wheat. So now, as a farmer, we some of us who know about farming, when they sift wheat, they sift the wheat from the chaff. And the chaff is the stuff that's not usable. And so what I'm really wanting to talk about in regards to relationships is that as you're moving into your due season, you're going to have to start sifting people away. And so what that means is, or what I'm really talking about is, will your relationships that you have now line up with your due season? Because I had a conversation yesterday with somebody really close to me, and I know some of you can identify with this. Say you've been in a relationship with somebody and you've had a lot of ups and downs, you've had a lot of disappointments, and these people say they're going to be one way and then they end up being another way, or they end up telling you, well, it's not what you think. Or they may have more than one relationship. You think that you're their number 1, but you actually might be their number 5. And so that is hard on some people to deal with, because I think a lot of people, most of us want to have a committed, loyal relationship. And let's talk about loyalty. Loyalty has been changed in a lot of ways, because I noticed that some people are loyal to folks in their bad behavior. And that is not loyalty. That is, you are actually allowing yourself to be used. You're not being respected. You're not being valued, because all of us have value, and all of us deserve, or we should say, should get a certain amount of respect. Of course, respect is earned. But just like I told this person, when somebody shows you who they are, and you've all heard this, you need to believe them. Now, we all want to think the best of people, but if people are not willing to grow as you are growing, as you are coming into your due season, those people need to be sifted away, just like the chaff from the wheat. So my question is, what will your due season look like? We're getting close into fall, and winter is coming. And then before you know it, it's a new year. And a lot of people, they make New Year's resolutions. They're going to do this, they're going to do that. But sometimes they carry over relationships that really aren't supposed to be in their due season, because they're loyal to them, or they feel connected to them in one way or another, which goes back to something we've talked about in the past about dating with intention, where, what a lot of us do, myself included, we meet somebody, we like them, we start spending time with them, and then we become intimate with them, and now you're connected in a way that's really, really close. Your emotions get involved, and it's really hard to break away from that. That's why I like to, I hear people, I fell in love And people fall in love and fall out of love. But falling, it hurts. I like to use the term grow in love, which when we come back to dating with intention, instead of wasting your time, because that's what you're doing with some people. You're wasting your time. They are not going to come around. If you're growing, you're going in one direction, and they're standing still. At the very least, they may, if they don't pull you back, they're going to stop you. So what I'm encouraging you to do and what you to think about is, as you're moving into your due season, what are those relationships going to look like? Are they going to line up with that due season? Are you going to continue to carry on and be loyal to people in their bad behaviors? So as you're preparing for your due season, these are the things that I want you to consider. Because I hear all the time about people getting involved with folks, and for one reason or another, it doesn't work out. And it's usually because they don't ask those critical questions in the beginning. If you're a person and you want to be married, when you go out with somebody, and we've said this before, that's the conversation that you have right away. You ask them, are you marriage minded? What's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? How are you trying to improve yourself? And sometimes people, well, that's a lot to ask on a first date. How it could be, but it could be the difference between you spending one night, one evening with somebody, or one day with somebody, or end up, excuse me, I gotta get a little water. Or you end up spending 4, 5, 10 years with somebody, hoping and praying to God, Lord, change them. Lord, do this. Lord, do that. But one thing I do know, God's not a tyrant. He will not make anyone do anything. We all have free will. And again, when someone tells you who they are, even in your best hopes, your best dreams, that's usually not, there was a season for that relationship. And what I did, I tried to turn a season into a lifetime. Don't be that person. Don't waste time with folks who don't line up with your due season. That's the message, and that's the bulk of this live tonight. My heart goes out to people. I hear stories, and we've all heard stories about people being involved with people 5, 6, 7, in my case 25 years, to come to realize that this wasn't the right person. This wasn't the person that I needed to be with. So remember, when you're growing, when you're moving into that due season, because winter is coming, and before you know it, it'll be the new year. Don't carry those people into your due season. Don't carry those people into when you're trying to become the best version of yourself. Well, you want to be able to have someone who's the best version of themselves, or at least moving in that direction. We talked about in the 5 love languages about your love cup. And that was part of the conversation I had yesterday, where this person was saying they were pouring into this person love, attention. They were trying to be supportive and loyal. And like we said, if only one person is pouring into that cup, what happens to this cup? It gets empty. And that's not the best for anyone. Everyone wants love. Everyone should have love. But love is not something that just happens. And I've heard other people say catch feelings. I don't know what that means. You don't catch feelings. You make a choice. Everything begins and ends with choice. So when it comes to relationships, make good choices. Don't get caught up with people who shouldn't even be in your life just because you got a feeling or it was fun. Especially when you're talking about lifelong relationships. Now, if you're just out here having a good time and you just want to spend time with folks, hey, that's okay. However, what usually happens is you spend enough time with someone and then you get involved, you get your emotions tied in. You might even become intimate and then have a child with this person. And then you realize, oh my goodness, this is not the right one. And now you got a child together and you're going to be connected for at least 18 to 20 years, sometimes more, depending on how you raise that child. But that's pretty much all that I want to share with you tonight. Remember, the enemy, he wants to put these people in your life to either stop you or slow you down. So we talk about dating with intention, making sure that the people that are in your life line up with your due season. So remember those things. And this is always what we're talking about, change. My 3 components to change. The first thing is you make a decision. The second thing is you make a commitment. And the last thing is you become consistent. Because if you're consistent to your commitment, to your decision, you will change. Now, if you haven't already done so, all of these videos, these lives that we do on Facebook, we always upload them to our YouTube channel, Bountiful Harvest with Joe and Keesa. I encourage you to go over there and comment, like, and subscribe so that you'll be notified when we upload those videos. And remember, we also still have our contest going on. When we get to 100 subscribers, we're going to be giving away a prize at 100, 500, and 1,000. So if this information has been a benefit to you, I please encourage you to share it with someone, because there are people out here who are wasting away. They're languishing in relationships that are no good for them. And maybe this message might help them to make the right choice, to make sure that when they move into their due season, that they have the right people in their lives so that they can enjoy the best of what this life has to offer. All right, remember, we're always on Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. And I appreciate everyone who comes on live and watches with us. Remember, we love you, and we'll see you next Sunday. Later.